Okay, before I start, I'd like you to subscribe, hit the like button, share our videos, and if you'd like to become a member, that'd be great, or a patron, or if you'd just like to drop us a coffee in the super chat below this video, that'd be great too. For as little as 25 pesos, you can't go wrong. Okay, this video is my opinion, in my opinion only. It's a floating restaurant over there, look. I come and sit here sometimes it's a bit further up there, but it's so relaxing, really relaxing. Now, I've been asked over the years, not so much since the pandemic, but I've been asked over the years, you know, I've met this girl and she's really nice. We seem to have a connection and all the rest of it. Of course, they're talking about online. Look, there's nothing wrong with meeting a girl online. What is wrong is if you get too serious, you give the girl the impression she's the one, you're going to come and meet her, and then you start sending her money. Big mistake. You know, what you got to think to yourself is, what did they do before they met you for finances, right? You're not going to save their lives. I know you pretty much want to, because you've got no experience of the Philippines, you've got no experience of these girls, you don't really know much, you just want to be the knight in shining armor and save them, and you get carried away. And a lot of the time, I'm not going to give you any percentage, but it's more, there's more fails than there's wins. If you're really unlucky, you'll lose your shirt, and I mean everything. You're not allowed to own land in the Philippines. So if you come over here and you get married and you want to buy some land or just a property, you've got to put it in your wife or your partner's name. Now, this place is no different to anywhere else in the world. When you meet a woman, you have to be with them a lot and get to know them really well before you actually know them. And even then, do you really know them? I mean, you know, we've been divorced, we've been there, done that. You don't really know them. But there's a lot of men, after just a little bit of time with them, wants to come over here, sell up, come over here, build a new life. There's nothing wrong with that, as long as she's the right one and she's going to stay with you. Now, the majority of these girls are genuine, very loving, very loyal, and if you get the right one, you're made. And you'll wonder to yourself, why was I ever with a foreign woman? Now, there's a lot of nice foreign women, I don't beat me over the head, but you've got to take your time. Now, I've been here over 7 years, and my attitude on a lot of things has changed. I've had to adapt a lot, by the way. If you're not prepared to adapt, don't bother coming to the Philippines, because it's going to be, well, you need to adapt because you're in the Philippines, I'm not in the UK, US, wherever it is. You're going to have to adapt. And if you're not prepared to, this really isn't a good move for you. Again, you need to come to the Philippines to see if it's the right place for you. You might not like it. You might not like the place she lives in. You might like somewhere else, Leyte, one of the tourist destinations, you know, Cebu, Dumaguete, God knows why, but you've got more chance of meeting a nice girl in places like Naga, which not everybody, Naga doesn't really jump to the mind of a lot of people. You know, when you mention the Philippines, they immediately think of Cebu, don't they? They're not really, they're tourist destinations. They're not really the right place to go and find a woman, unless you go out in the sticks, you know, you go out in the province. You'll meet women there. I had to laugh. There was a guy, we're going back a long time ago, and he wrote me a message, and he said he'd watched one of my videos and he didn't agree, and this, that and the other, and he's going to come over to the Philippines, and he's going to go out in the province, and he's going to meet a province girl because they're more submissive. No, they're not. And even if they were, they've got lots of family around them that will sort of point them in a better direction, if you know what I mean. Now, the other thing is, men seem to think because they get women a bit closer their age, they've got more chance. Well, maybe, because I'm not really experienced in that side of the argument sort of thing. But when it comes to young girls, and bearing in mind between me and Mel there's a 26-year difference, right? It's a big difference. And because of that, there's fish jumping. There's one jumped out of the water, I missed it on camera. Big one as well, that's unusual. They're normally fishing off the roadside here, but there's nobody fishing today. I had to laugh because, sorry, I'm going off. I had to laugh because he had about 6 hooks and he pulled about 3 fish out, and they were about that big. And it reminded me, give a man a fish and he'll feed his family for a day. No. Anyway, I've been with Mel, it was our anniversary last June, 6 years. And you know, we've come across some hurdles and misunderstandings and a lot of stuff, you know. And that's another thing, you've got to have somebody that is at least speaks reasonable English, because you're gonna have to overcome a lot of hurdles without the English barrier as well. So that's a thing to bear in mind. I mean, you've got to remember, these girls, the girls you're going to meet, live in not so good places, right? It's very unlikely you're going to meet a girl and she lives in a nice big house with a family and it's beautiful and it's in a nice area. Not to say that it's not possible, but it's very unlikely. If you know different, drop me a message and tell me you found somebody, but I think you'll be able to count it on one finger. But anyway, like I say, I've been here 7 years, and with hindsight, if I could do it all over again, and I had the finances, by the way, because without the finances, forget it. But the best advice I can give you is, if you can afford it, is come over to the Philippines, travel light, live in a place you think you want to be. If it's not for you, then you can move and just keep moving around, and these girls will find you. Once they know you're single and you're available, they'll find you. I guarantee they'll find you. And just stay in a place, get a maid. You can get a maid for between 4,500 and 7,000 pesos a month. Seriously, it's nothing. So you can get somebody to look after you, do your shopping, your washing, your cooking. I guess I'll even fill some forms out for you if you wanted them to. And do it that way. Don't tie yourself down to one girl, because you know, you might meet and everything seemed great over the internet, and then you think, oh. And I've had a guy do that, an American guy. Met him in SM. He says, Chris, I don't like her, what do I do? It's like, why are you asking me? I don't know. Just don't sleep with her and then tell her you don't want to see her again. That was my main concern. But when it comes to young girls and us old men, you've got more chance of the relationship working if you live in the Philippines than if you take her back to the West, because they very quickly become westernized. They'll meet more Filipinos and they'll look at you and they'll say, why are you with him? John likes you. He's a lot closer your age. He's got a nicer house, nicer job, nicer car, all the rest of it. And before you know it, they'll be saying au revoir. So that's basically my advice for what it's worth. The other thing is, when you're interacting with what you think. Another one's just jumped there, look. That was big. When you think you've found the right girl, please, please, please do not tell her what you have. Seriously. If you, for example, just for a quick example, are earning 100,000 a month, pesos that is, tell her you're only on 50, you're on a modest pension. Because if you think money doesn't matter to these girls, then, you know, I've got a bridge to sell you, and it's not that one. It does matter. There's a class system here, and these girls would proudly brag off to their friends that you've just bought them this house, you've just bought them this car, you've just done this, you've just done that. They're very materialistic, as are we all. And don't say you're not, because you're telling lies. If you won the lottery tomorrow, you'd be buying things that you never dreamed that you could ever buy. I mean, look, when we get to a certain age and we've actually got the money to buy the things we couldn't buy when we were teenagers, we're buying them now, but it doesn't mean the same, does it? And when you come to the Philippines, material things for us as old men isn't the same as when we're in the West, keeping up with the Joneses. You don't have to do that here. These people see a foreigner as rich regardless what you've got. You don't have to throw money about for them to think you're rich. Some more. There's loads of fish here. I might bring me fishing rod, I've actually got one. So don't rush into anything. You know, fools rush in. And this is not a good place to meet a Filipina. God forbid you marry her here, and you know, she'll say something like, oh, I've got good news, my mum says we can have the land next door to build a house on. No, don't do that. Don't do that, because the chances are, not guaranteed, but the chances are your front door will never be closed. You'll never have the privacy. You'll always be borrowing money and this, that and the other. And again, there is exceptions to the rules. I'm not painting everybody with the same brush. You'll regret it. You'll regret it. Absolutely, you will regret it. So that's my take on it. The other thing is, I keep getting asked, as a lot of bloggers do, what's the minimum I can live on in the Philippines? Well, I used to say about $800–900 a month. Now, with prices just going up like a man with no arms, you're looking at, for a single guy, $1,200 a month. Now, if you're with a girl and you're living in the province in a hut, and you know, you're eating Filipino food, I guess you could reduce that. But don't forget, you have added expense like your visa. You've got to remember you might end up needing medical assistance, which you should have some savings. I would recommend no less than $2,000, as much as $5,000 if you can afford it. Now you might think, oh God, what's this guy on about? Honestly, been there, done that. I got a swollen testimonial. It cost me 89,000 pesos. That was all our savings just wiped out, just like that. And it could have been worse. I only had one night in hospital, and I was told 70,000 maximum. It turned out 89,000. So bear all this in mind and think about it. I'll just give you another little story. A subscriber sent me a message, and he says, Chris, I've been talking to this girl for a while, and every time I bring up coming to see her, she tries to change the subject, or she doesn't talk to me for a few days after. And I'm giving her like an allowance every month for groceries and stuff. What do you think I should do? And it's like, well, don't send her any allowance for groceries and see what happens. If she's genuine, she'll keep talking to you. If she's not, you know, it will stop. I don't think you like my answer, because he's never spoke to me again since. That happened to a guy in the UK with marital advice. His wife was always flirting with other guys, me included. I'm talking about when I was 18, 19. And she left him for a gym instructor. And he asked my advice. She left him with the 2 kids. He had 2 beautiful girls. And I said, look, you got 2 beautiful girls. You're very kind and considerate, handsome man. I said, you'll find somebody else that'll take on your kids as well. I said, just let her do what she's doing. Basically dump her. She's dumped you, you dump her. Well, he didn't like what I said. I've been friends with him for years. So it's best to keep your mouth shut. Or at least it's best to keep my mouth shut. Keep your opinions to yourself. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this little rant and you take on board a little bit of my advice, because it's good advice, trust me, it's good advice. And you'll find that if you take it slow, as a recent subscriber of mine has, and everything seems to be going fandabby-dozy, you'll be fine. But rush in, start selling up and buying a land and houses, and unless you can afford to lose it, you can afford to do it and lose that money, then God bless you. But if you can't, don't do it. Just don't do it. Oh, just before I go, this is it. I was asked if I bought my girlfriend some land, can I lease the land off my girlfriend? And it's an absolute 100% yes. You can lease it for 25 years. But as soon as she is no longer your girlfriend, i.e. you get married, then that lease is null and void, because you cannot lease from your wife or your husband or whatever it is. Because there is a young lady here from the West who's marrying a Filipino, so it sort of works both ways. So that's it. I hope you've enjoyed this little rant. Don't forget, please like, subscribe, share our videos. Don't forget, make sure the notification bell doesn't have a cross through it, otherwise you're not going to be notified, and in some cases you still don't anyway. That's because of ScrewTube. And if you'd like to support this channel, there's Patreon, there's membership, or there's super thanks below this video. 25 pesos lang, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.
This rang, we started as strangers. I could barely speak your words, but every day you talk to me, I learn more than I deserved. We stood side by side in the hard times, helped each other through the rain. And when you were lost and hurting, I stayed and called your name. Chris, Wren, you were drowning in the bottle, letting go of who you are. But I held on and I believed you could reach the brightest star. Now Chris, Wren, you're shining, you're strong. Every day you keep moving on. You become the man I always knew you'd be. Even when you're far away in another land someday, Chris, Wren, you'll stay inside my heart with me. Chris, Wren, I see you every morning, running miles beneath the sky. You've turned your pain into power, and you're not afraid to try. You've trusted me with your memories, with the things you leave behind, and I'll keep them safe forever, with your friendship in my mind. Chris, Wren, I remember when you stumbled, when the night felt colder than the day. But now you found your fire, and you're lighting up the way. Now Chris, Wren, you're shining, you're strong. Every day you keep moving on. You become the man I always knew you'd be. Even when you're far away in another land someday, Chris, Wren, you'll stay inside my heart with me. Oh, ooh, miles can't break this bond we made. strong. Every day you keep moving on. You become the man I always knew you'd be. Even when you're far away in another land someday, Wren, you'll stay inside my heart with me. Yeah, Wren, you'll stay with me. Wren, I see you every morning, running miles beneath the sky. You've turned your pain into power, and you're not afraid to try. Even when you're far away in another land someday, Wren, you'll stay inside my heart with me. Yeah, Wren, you'll stay with me. Yeah, straight. But now Wren, you're shining, you're strong. Every day you keep moving on. Become the man I always knew you'd be. You'd be far away in another land someday. Wren, you'll stay inside my heart with me.